On the move, changing perceptions, pushing limits. Today's Africa is not framed by the past. A new generation is stepping up, embracing tradition while blazing a new path, giving voice to unique style, connected in ways others before were not. This is where the urban pulse meets creativity and a new culture thrives. This is African Voices.
From Oslo for the awarding of the 96th Nobel Peace Prize. Let's listen in.
The Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet for its decisive contribution to the building of a pluralistic democracy in Tunisia in the wake of the Jasmine Revolution of 2011.
Lido Beach on a Friday afternoon. It's not a scene you'd normally associate with a city like Mogadishu. But the crowds here are evidence that Somalia's war-torn capital is changing.
Life is getting better now. We got safe now. Now we are safe. We feel happy. Now the life coming back.
Of success in Western Africa, the number of Ebola cases has declined dramatically, thanks to collective action by communities, their governments, and support from around the world. The outbreak is still not over, but with new rapid diagnostic tests and a promising new vaccine, the communities now turn to a phase of vigilance to prevent the killer virus from taking hold once again.
Kenya's standard gauge railway will connect its port city of Mombasa to its capital, Nairobi. It spans more than 480 kilometers southeast to northwest. It's the first international trunk railway outside of China to adopt Chinese technology, Chinese management, and Chinese electromechanical equipment. The government of Kenya is building the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway on loan with a contract amount of $3.8 billion. The China Road and Bridge Corporation is the contractor.
This airport in Tanzania is filled with passengers trying to reach their destinations. Some will be wined and dined on first-class flights, but many others choose more affordable options. Low-cost airline FastJet made affordable departures its specialty when it began offering no-frill flights from Dar es Salaam in 2012.
The Russian president has said the air crash of the Russian passenger jet Airbus 321 was an act of terrorism. The investigation has shown traces of foreign-made explosives on board. Authorities say a bomb with up to 1.5 kilograms of TNT brought down the plane flying over the Sinai Peninsula, which coming from Sharm el-Sheikh to St. Petersburg.
In Libya, the UN brokered an agreement to form a new unity government after months of difficult talks between the rival parties. But conflict continues. Waves of terror hit Nigeria, where Boko Haram has killed more than 20,000 people in the last 6 years. 2.5 million people either fled across borders or are homeless in their own country. In the Central African Republic, violence has continued, disrupting the political process and hindering the vital work of the humanitarian agencies. Peace talks in South Sudan. But fighting continued in various states despite a ceasefire deal, leading to yet another round of peace talks. Despite Burundi's election to the UN Human Rights Council, their own presidential elections in July were overshadowed by allegations of human rights violations. More than 100,000 Burundians have fled the country, many of them across the lake to Tanzania and Rwanda.
Sub-Saharan Africa, home to thundering river valleys, is where most of the world's water challenges are concentrated. More than 300 million Africans lack access to safe drinking water. More than 500 million Africans lack access to improved sanitation. Every year, 800,000 African children die from diarrhea.
Conservation of another kind was also a major concern, this time saving animals from extinction. The shooting of Cecil the lion brought wildlife crime to the world's attention, but the animal trade goes further. In Africa, more than 30,000 elephants are killed each year. And for rhinos, poaching is also at a record high.
Today, more and more people in the world live in cities. Across Africa, more than 40,000 people become city dwellers every day. So by 2040, more than half of Africa's population will live in a city. Urbanization is the single most important transformation that the African continent will undergo this century.
Khalili is passionate about computers. He studied IT at a business college in Johannesburg, but has been out of work since.
It's a year and a half now, and the challenges were actually experience and the level of education which I have.
Khalili's story is typical. Over half of young people in South Africa are unemployed.
Their quick steps, rhythm and swagger are taking Uganda by storm. The Ghetto Kids are performing at some of the biggest shows. Audiences don't want to miss a move or a beat. Ghetto Kids shot to fame with this homemade video uploaded to YouTube in January. It's become an internet sensation with millions of views from around the world.
7 gold medals, 6 silver medals and 3 bronze medals saw Kenya top the IAAF World Championships in Beijing, China.
Join hands to take common climate action. All countries agreed to hold the rise of global temperatures well below 2 degrees Celsius. New challenges wait in the next decade. Achieving zero hunger, finding solutions for conflicts and climate change. Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai.
I'm hopeful that we all and the United Nations will be united in the goal of education and peace, and that we will make this world not just a better place, but the best place to live.